What's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Amit, and today we are looking at ChatGPT's deep research functionality. Let's get started. All right, before we get into doing the research, I wanted to give you some context on what it is, how to use it, and what are some of the use cases that you might want to use it for so you don't burn away your allowed limits. Now, I'm on the $20 a month Pro plan on ChatGPT here in the US, and we get about 10 deep research searches a month. So just keep that in mind. Depending on your plan, you will have some limits. I will also show you, if you run out of your limits, how to use deep research for free using some other free tools. But here's a little bit of context. Why does it matter? So traditionally, when AI first came out, ChatGPT hit the scene, we got used to the instant answers, right? You ask a question, it instantly answers your question. So it was a very linear back and forth kind of manner that you were using ChatGPT for. With research, it kind of flips that model on its head. Now with the functionality for ChatGPT to surf the web, you can give it a topic, you can ask it to go in depth and research that topic. And after it has done the research, it can compile, it can do reasoning within itself, and then give you a fully thought out answer. So that's really the context behind what it is and how to best use it. So with that intro, what exactly it is deep research? As I mentioned, it's a new functionality inside ChatGPT. Might be old by now for you, but I have literally just started playing with it. It finally rolled out to me because they're rolling it in batches to pro users. So as I mentioned, it performs this multi-step research online, does that all for you, and then brings you the results. And then in their words, ChatGPT says, think of it as your AI research assistant. And then what we're going to look into is how does this work? And then let's hop into ChatGPT and show you the research. So on their website, it mentions that it uses this deep research, no rush method, which removes latency constraints and essentially allows the model to be a little bit more free and take its time to do its thing, because the typical model is waiting to hear from you and give you the answer right away. So they have first started with a super fast model. Now they're slowing it down to give you that deep research. So it also acts like a human analyst by asking you clarifying questions before it goes and does the research for you. And it uses the GPT-4 Turbo model, which was trained on reinforced learning. And what that means is it can handle complex browsing and reasoning tasks. And then deep research also has the ability to scan through PDFs, through blog text, or just text on the internet, images, and even tables, right? And compile all of that for you in a fully thought out, structured research that can sometimes include tables and graphs. And then you also get that research fully cited, so you can cite those sources. So this typically you would have to do it yourself. Maybe it'll take you an hour, maybe more. Now you are offshoring that work to the cloud, to OpenAI, and they are performing it on your behalf. So let's see this in action. So I'm inside of my ChatGPT window here. I have selected ChatGPT 4.5, and you can see it here says research preview. And then within this, I've given it my command, which is I'd like you to do some research on the history of black holes and tie it to the modern day discoveries by JWST, which is the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, instead of hitting the search, which allows ChatGPT to surf the web, I'm going to hit deep research. Now you can only hit one or the other, and that's because deep research inherently searches the web. So it doesn't make sense for you to toggle both of them. And from here, what we're going to do is just press send and see what happens. Now, remember in the slide, I was talking about it acts as a human analyst. So here it is, ChatGPT is asking me some follow-up questions. So let's answer these questions so that we can give it some more context, and then off it will go doing its research. All right, I have provided my answers. I'm going to read these answers out to you, but for now, let's just hit send so that the deep research can begin. And then I am going to scroll up and show you what my answers were to those questions. So you can see here, the research has started. Now this can take anywhere between 2 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the topic, how complex it is, how much of a direction you have given ChatGPT to do the research. So while this continues its research, I'm going to read you my answers. Then I want to go back to the slideshow and show you a few more slides about deep research so you better understand this concept and realize what are some of the things that you can use it for. All right, here are ChatGPT's follow-up questions before it began the deep research and my answers. Now, you can see on the right side, it's already started doing the research, and it's doing the thinking, the reasoning, all of that is happening in the backend. But the questions were, should I cover ancient and classical ideas about cosmic voids or start from the 18th to the 20th century scientific development? And my answer was go ancient and classical and then progress through the centuries. Next, are you interested more in theoretical side like Einstein's equations, Hawking's radiation? I have no clue what those are. Or the observational side like telescopes, directions? I understand those. But I said, how about a mix of both? The next was, what kind of connection do JWST, which again, I only said JWST, ChatGPT understands that stands for James Webb Telescope. So what kind of connection to JWST are you looking for? Specific discoveries it has made or its broader role in studying black holes? And I said, specific discoveries and theories. And then the final question was, would you like this formatted as a report with headers and a timeline or just a narrative summary? I said, sounds like it'll be fun to have a timeline. Now you can see on the right side, it's crawling all these sites. It's trying to understand this concept so it can then compile it together for me in a nicely bundled up report. Now, while it's doing that, if I hover over deep research, you'll see this little message, 9 available until April 23rd. So the 23rd of every month, my quota resets and I get 10 deep research on my $20 a month plan. So use that wisely. I'm going to show you one more time. So what we'll do is we'll take this exact topic and I'm going to show you how to do this for free while we wait for ChatGPT to finish what it's doing. All right. So while ChatGPT is off to research land and being our human analyst, I would like to show you how to do this for free. And for that, I'm going to use Perplexity AI, completely free to use. I am on their free plan. I'm not paying any money for this. So what we're going to do is ask that exact same question in here. And instead of auto, I'm going to use the deep research. And you can see it says here 3 enhanced queries remaining today. And I believe that goes for deep research. I don't know how many deep research queries you get on the free plan. So I don't do enough of deep research to ever hit my limit, but just know that there is a limit for on the free plan, and I'm sure on the paid plan as well, because that's going to cost them more tokens to do the deep research for you. So let's go ahead and give it that exact same command, see if it comes back to us with any follow-up questions. Looks like no, Perplexity didn't come back with any questions. So I'm going to let Perplexity do its thing, ChatGPT do its thing, and show you the third tool that you can also use. This one is a paid tool, or at least I'm paying for it. It's Claude, and on Claude, let's give it the same prompt. What I have done here is I've chosen the Claude 3.7 Sonnet model, which is their latest model, and I've selected the extended thinking mode instead of the normal thinking mode. And you can also reference their older models here, but just know that those older models won't have access to the extended thinking mode. So let's give it that, and I've given the writing style of explanatory, and with that, let's hit send. So now Claude does its thing, just like ChatGPT, just like Perplexity, and you can see it's searching the web. It's going to go find its own resources, compile all of those for us. So while all of this research is happening for us, let's hop back into our presentation. All right, while our research assistants are off to research land, I want to share this next slide which says, what are some of the use cases that you could use it for? And this is again from OpenAI's website. So some of the examples that they give is academic research, consumer use. Let's say you want to shop for a snowmobile and you want to find the top 10 snowmobiles. Instead of doing the Google search, going through all of the top 10 links, you can just ask ChatGPT to do the deep research for you. Or maybe you want to remember a scene from a show, or vice versa. You remember a scene, but you don't know what show it's from. You can prompt whatever you know in your head and see if ChatGPT can answer that based on the very little data that you give it. The other two obvious examples are enterprise knowledge work. So trying to build presentations, doing competitive research, all of that can be done with deep research. Now, these are just some use cases. They are obviously limited by your imagination. The next slide, I want to show you what's happening under the hood. How does that work? So we talked earlier about the GPT-4 Turbo model. So what else is being used with that model? There's Python. There's also some file browsing happening, and of course web browsing, so that the model can understand what it needs to search for and cite that in the sources. Then under the hood, they also did some benchmarks, and deep research did a really good job on those benchmarks, especially humanities last test. And then according to them, this has the best, which I think they mean the least, hallucination of all OpenAI models. Yet to be seen, but obviously human review is still required. Now let's move to some of the performance insights. So according to OpenAI, tasks that can take humans hours can be now done in minutes. Some of this to some extent is true. Used to take you a long time to go through all the Google links, do your research, then maybe buy a product or find that TV show after scratching your brains and calling your friends, right? Now, the second point here is success is more correlated to economic value than time. That means it performs well on valuable tasks. Tasks that would take you longer to do, it's going to perform well on those tasks. Doing research on black holes will obviously take me longer because there is so much written about it. And then the more time and tool it has access to, the better it's going to perform, which will help us move to that agentic AI where you give an army of agents different tasks. Everyone takes that one task, completes it, moves it to the other. And then what is all of this leading to? That's the big picture. It's leading towards that AGI, the holy grail of the artificial general intelligence, right? Where AI is smart enough to think on its own. It's also about agents that work unsupervised, work hard, work long on deep topics to maybe do some new research to find new things. And then the future potential is to connect your own data, maybe enterprise data, your files, context, give it all of that to do even more customized deep research. With that, let's head back to ChatGPT and see if our research is complete. All right, we're back inside ChatGPT. Our research is done. And you can see there were 33 sources that ChatGPT crawled to figure out how to do this research on this specific topic. And those 33 resources took about 7 minutes to crawl. And what did that bring us? So it brought us this. We have our history of black holes, a timeline. Now it's going through all of the timeline to tell us step by step how black holes progressed from theory to the foundation to predictions, and then it keeps going on. And you can see throughout this research there are citations to the sources that ChatGPT has crawled. This is massive. Imagine you're writing a paper and you want to do the research, but you don't want to spend hours. You can do your research in under 10 minutes and then read through it now that you have all that data compiled in a nice way, and then start putting your own flair and your own human element in it. Now I'm obviously not going to read through all of this because there is a lot to read through, but you can see it was pretty thorough, and then brings us to the present day. And then it also tells us insights from JWST on early black holes. That was some of the theoretical part that I wanted to see if it will capture, and it surely did up until 2025. So I'm just going to read this last paragraph and highlight some of the key points of those researchers from JWST. All right, so interesting insights from 2025, and here you can see it says, as we move forward, new observations in space and on Earth will build on JWST's findings. One of its findings is that from detecting the earliest quasars and hidden black hole populations to witnessing black hole driven galactic feedback, Webb's discoveries are painting a cohesive picture in which black holes are not just endpoints of stellar death, but central characters in the story of galaxy formation and evolution. And that's because James Webb Telescope has a better lens. It can further peer into the darkness of space and get us those things back, right? The data, the images, and ChatGPT was able to do that. Now let's go back and check the free Perplexity model to see how deep its deep research was. So I'm hopping back into Perplexity. Here we have 32 sources, so about the same number of resources as ChatGPT. And let's see, looks like the theoretical genesis, early conceptions, general relativity. Now remember that Perplexity didn't ask us some of the follow-up questions before it went into research, so that might be some of the missing things from here, but overall this also looks pretty in-depth research. And then from this research you can ask follow-up questions. So for something that's absolutely free and you don't have to pay anything, I think this is not bad. Now let's go over to Claude AI and see how it did for the paid version. So here it doesn't show me how many sources, and looks like it only took it 4 seconds, but let's see what exactly was going on here. So we have the history of black holes and modern JWST discoveries, the theoretical origins. Then from that we have black hole observations before James Webb, JWST's revolutionary discoveries, and then conclusion. So clearly not as in-depth as ChatGPT or Perplexity, but this wasn't really a research option. It was more of a, hey, think longer and then give me the answer option. So I personally don't know if Claude has that deep research built in. So there you have it. Thank you again for watching. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you get notified next time I release a video. And until next time, keep creating.